Hey everyone, Jackie and Ricky here with Enjoying Life's Journey. Welcome back to our channel. So we are currently in Kentucky. We are working for Amazon Ricky's working for the camper force, so we get to stay in this beautiful state park, Green River Lake State Park, for free. This is our backyard. And yeah, it's freaking awesome. So yeah, so we're here. So we wanted to talk about our last work camping job at the sugar beet harvest in North Dakota. We were actually in the Drayton yard. So we were right on the border, Canada. East border of North Dakota and just a little south of Canada. So we were pretty much up
an hour drive to Canada.
Yeah, probably like an hour to Canada. Unfortunately, I don't have a passport, and Ricky's passport is expired, so we did not take a trip up to Canada. But we wanted to talk about a little bit about the sugar beet harvest, how we found out about it, the hiring process, and our experience there. In case any of you are interested in working there or just knowing how we happen to make some money on the road.
Yep.
Basically, we found out about it from a couple different YouTubers actually, and Brian from Adventure Van Man. We actually got to camp with him, and Ricky and him worked on the same shift, so we got to hang out with him a lot. And we'll leave a link to his channel below, but we found out, because last year he did a review on his experience at the sugar beet harvest, and reached out to him and asked him how do we apply, and he was really helpful in getting us information about it, and so we went ahead and gave it a shot. But basically, you just go online, and we did the online application, so we each had to fill out an application. Yeah, we applied kind of early. I want to say we applied, so it had to be around April or May, probably.
Yeah, probably beginning of April.
Yeah, is when we applied. And basically they called us, so they had someone call probably a few days after we applied online. They basically just went over, what position we put down that we wanted versus what was available, and just kind of gave us the rundown of how the process was going to work, that we would get someone would get in contact with us in another couple months, just because we were applying so far out. And then they contacted us a couple months out and said where we were located, and we actually asked to be relocated to the Drayton yard. That way we could, meet up with Brian and everything. And they were very accommodating. They went ahead and switched us over. Which is
actually very good thing, because it's only 5 minutes drive from the camp we're staying on.
Yeah, so where we were actually camped versus where we were working, it literally was like a mile down the road. Yeah. So that was, so we were glad we got switched to there. So then they gave us the start date. So they wanted us at camp on September 25th. That way we could do our new hire paperwork, and we'd have training on the 26th. We actually got there September 23rd. So we called ahead, and they said that was fine if we came early. So I do encourage you guys, if you have the time and the money, go a little early. That way you get an idea of the area, you get to pick out your site, and really I think one of the best experience was the community of all of the other work campers. Yeah. So once we got there, we got to meet a lot of people. We did a few different
some of them are actually here in for Amazon season jobs.
Yep, so. Some of them are here in Amazon now, So we got there on the 23rd. We did our paperwork on the 25th. And because Ricky and I had the girls with us, we did our paperwork separate, and we did our training separate. Yep. But we got everything was pretty much done by the 26th. So then we kind of just were able to hang out and wait, because we started October 1st. So that's when we got to do different potlucks. Our neighbor...
Overdrive?
Yeah,
Overdrive. He's actually very helpful. He helped us out. We don't even know how to turn on the water heater. We thought it was the furnace. Which one is this button?
Yeah, so he helped us get the water heater
going. It's just one button. All you have to do is push it.
It was one button. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we did blow a fuse, and he came over and helped us
out
with that. So we were joking around. We're like, he's probably gonna be like, these guys, my neighbors don't know anything.
How did they make it here?
Yeah. So that's what I was saying with community is awesome, because you're there with a lot of people who have probably more experience than you do. We're, it's our first work camping job. And like I said, we got to hang out with Brian. We met Bill. He's actually here at Amazon as well, and he actually gave the girls a really cool book on all of the national monuments, and that was really sweet of him. And that came with like a little thing, so you put quarters from all the states.
Yeah, that's pretty
in
cool.
there. It was pretty cool. So Arcadia and I went through all of her quarters and found a spot for him in there. So we did a couple potlucks and everything, and then there were 2 other couples that had kids, so we thought there weren't going to be any other kids there. So there was another girl around Arcadia's age, so we did several play dates with her throughout the season. And then there was another couple with a boy that was 10 years old, and we hung out with them a few times as well at the beginning. But once work started, there really wasn't a whole lot of getting together or socializing because it was crunch time.
Yep, you need your sleep to adjust to your own schedule. And once you get there, you're pretty much just, everything just goes very smooth.
Yeah. So we worked opposite shifts. So Ricky worked in the morning. So he worked from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, and I worked at 8 at night till 8 in the morning. So they were accommodating in the sense that they let us drive our car with the girls in it, up to the machine that we operated. We'll talk a little bit more about the positions and what the machines are here in a second. But they let us drive, up to there, so we were able to switch spots right there with the car. But as far as there was one day, our first day, where our shifts overlapped an hour, and actually Tammy, one of the ladies that helped us with all of the paperwork and gets everyone set up, she was actually nice enough to watch all of the kids that first day for that hour. So Ricky dropped off Arcadia at the little office thing that they had, and just basically brought like some coloring books and Legos and stuff, and then I picked them up when we got done. Yeah, so it ended up working out.
And they actually worked with us, and it's actually pretty nice for her to do.
That was really nice of her, and then they actually, her and her husband Rick actually gave us an extension cord for our power, our 30 amp power.
Because it wasn't long enough to reach all the way to the plugs. So.
It wasn't reaching, and then they left it with us, so we called them, once everyone was gone, and they said that they felt we needed it more so we could use it, and that when we come across somebody else who needs it more than us, then we just we'll pay it forward and we'll donate it to someone else.
Pass it along.
Yeah, just keep passing it around. So I thought that was pretty cool. So now let's get into the part you guys are probably wanting to know more about, which is the actual job at the sugar beet harvest. Ricky can talk about what you were trained in.
I'm trained to do skid steer. Well, when you apply and they offer you, take it, because it pays a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it's $2 an hour more.
Yeah, $2 an hour more, or if they don't offer it to you, ask for it, because it's actually fun. I actually get to operate this machine, and I was having the time of my life. It was fun. I'm actually certified to operate that for 3 years, and
so tell them a little bit about what it is and what the what you had to do with that machine.
So pretty much you're every time the pilar, because the pilar,
so there's a pilar, which is a big machine, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but every time,
well, the pilar gets very messy with all that dirt and muds and all that, so you just have to collect all the, what was that, the beets. The beets, not the mud. Well,
it's kind of like mud. It was pretty muddy.
It's it's
like all the dirt that's shaken off.
You just collect it,
beets,
you put it on the side, and then whenever there's beets ends up all over the place, you just let the helpers know you're coming through and make sure you're everything's safe. And sugar beets, they're very concerned about everybody's safety.
Yeah.
So
safety
that's
first.
the main thing. It's you're dealing with the elements, different elements, which is the wind, rain. It is going to be a it's
Wet
very
and
difficult
cold.
challenge, you know, very challenging days, but once you get used to the schedule and you're sleeping, get plenty of sleep, and you're pretty much, you know, you can, you know, everybody can do it, and
Yeah.
we did it. Well,
Yeah.
we have to because
Well, basically, we
did-
told ourselves we had to.
well, yeah, we have to because we
You
used
know.
our emergency money. It was like
Yeah.
we have to do it. So
Yeah.
you just like Jackie said, you know, you just have to be in that mentality of you have to do it.
Yeah.
We drove that far and
You drove,
went through
yeah.
went through a lot just to get there, and we're not gonna turn around and say yes,
It's too
can't
hard.
handle it.
Yeah. I mean, there were some people that quit after a couple days. And honestly, it's not for everybody. But if you go in and you tell yourself it's going to be hard, it's going to be cold, it's going to be wet, it's going to be long hours, but it's short, the overall time is short, and it's temporary, and it's decent money, if you go in with that mentality, then you're going to be able to survive it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Like Ricky said, he was having the time of his life because he got to learn how to use equipment he never knew how to use before.
And I actually learned how to use the Pilar.
Yeah, and
the
he got
machine
to.
also.
Yep. So I mean, for us, I felt like it was a fun experience because we were learning more about the agriculture business and farming and things that we really haven't participated in before.
When you say sugar, it's like it's.
Yeah, you don't know sugar.
Sugar cane.
Yeah, sugar cane. Yeah, it's like sugar is
Yeah,
actually.
but then you don't see sugar canes.
Yeah.
You know, around this farm, you actually see these little sprouts. So
Yep,
what is it?
yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
a carrot?
so a little background of so the sugar beet harvest. So what are we doing? So the farmers are growing these beets, and I guess their sugar content is so high that they actually are able to, you know,
Crystallize it.
yeah,
and all
crystallize,
that
you know, make sugar out of them.
Sugar, yeah.
So the farmers get them all out, and then they come to the yard that we were at, and they have to go through this weigh station. And I actually got to work in the weigh station my last couple days because I actually hurt my shoulder, but I'll talk about that later. But so they come into the weigh station, they get a little ticket, like a receipt saying, you know, when they came, how much their truck weighed, and whether they need a sample taken. So they like to take samples, random samples from all the different farmers just to see how high sugar content their beets are having.
And they test them too.
Yeah, so that's like their samples, they're testing
Samples,
it. Yeah. So then they come in and they get to pick which piler they go to, which is this big machine. And the yard that we were at, there was actually a total of 8 pilers. So you have your north side and your south side. So there's 4 pilers on each side. And we were on
The
we were
south
piler
side.
8.
We're on the south side.
Yeah, we were actually on piler number 8 on the we were on the
South side.
north side.
North side?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. North. Jeez, I don't even know my direction. But anyway.
Yeah, so we were in the north yard on piler 8.
We were. I thought.
You started on
yeah,
6 and
yeah,
then they
on
moved
6,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then they come in, the trucks come over to the piler. So the piler is this big machine, and it has 2 what they call dump bin. They're just dump stations, whatever, on each side that the trucks they pull through.
Yep.
And then the piler operator, they have to raise the gates for this dump thing, and then tell the trucks when to start unloading their truck
All the
and
beets and
yeah,
all
to
that.
lift up their bed and to lower it. So they dumps in here, and a conveyor belt takes it up, and then it takes it up a larger conveyor belt into this big bucket. What do they call it? The meat grinder.
Yeah, I call it the meat grinder.
The meat grinder.
It actually cleans all the beets, all the
Yeah, so
dirt
it tries
and
to get all the dirt off, and then it takes it up another conveyor, which is actually, they call it a boom, and that boom can then swing back and forth, which is creating these piles of beets, and the beets,
a wall.
it's basically a wall of beets, and it's like 30 feet high, about 28 feet high or something like that. So you do have someone that operates the piler, so they operate, you know, the dump things, and they operate the conveyor belt, and they operate tell the trucks when to go up and down. So that's their job. And then there's a boom operator who operates when the boom swings back and forth and needs to back up, because you have to keep backing up to create these big piles, and these piles end up going, I don't know the exact amount, but it's like football fields.
Oh yeah,
long.
It's
huge.
it's a large
Yeah.
field.
And then what they're doing is they're laying over these what they call culverts. So that's where Ricky's position came in.
Yeah, that's when my.
So other than cleaning the area, his job is to
make sure all the beets doesn't overflow. So you have to put the culverts and make sure it's aligned.
So he's laying the culverts down.
You're just aligning all the culverts down so that it has a proper
the ventilations
and all that to keep it to keep the beets cooler.
Yeah, they're basically connected to these big fans. Yep. So they blow this cold air under the pile, and basically they need to go into a freeze or deep freeze. Not every pile has to have these culverts. There are some that are already like they're inside a building, and the cool air actually comes up through the floor. So there's a couple different ones. But Ricky's job was to lay the culverts when he was doing the skid steer job. So Ricky and our main job was what they call ground crew or the helper. So do you want to tell them what our job was as a helper?
As a helper, you have to make sure there's no mud all over the place. You just clean it up. You direct the trucks to go forward.
Trucks already know how to. The
you
trucks
just
come
tell
in.
them to you don't fully direct them. You just tell them just go. That's their job, to maneuver the truck. So you just tell them go, and then tell them to stop. The rest they'll just reposition the truck for them to dump all the beets. When they're done, you just tell them go forward. Still have to take their tickets. It's either sample or just put the number of the Pilar number, and then they'll dump the beets, and then when they're done, tell them to come forward, and they'll reposition their trucks, dirt's back.
I can't help it.
And then when they're done, you just tell them to go already.
So
I'll see you later.
Kick their tire.
Yeah, out.
No. The trucks come through the dump station. They have to drive over the dump station, and then when the Pilar operator opens closes the gates, the truck, it's their own job, like he said, it's the truck's job to back up and set their brakes.
Yep.
Then it's our job, he mentioned, we have to go up to the truck and take their little receipt that they got from the scale house, and we write the Pilar number on their ticket and we give it back to them. If they have to have a sample, their receipt will say sample, and then they have a separate ticket for the sample. So then we would actually go, and while they're dumping their beets, we would go, and there's these big bags and this machine that it's like a little claw goes in and takes beets out, and you have to put them in these sample bags.
Claw.
It is it's like a.
You call it bucket.
Oh, it's a bucket.
Claw. It's the claw. Remember a Toy Story?
Yeah, the claw.
Look, it's the claw.
Yeah, so it's a bucket. Yeah, it's a bucket.
I don't know
why I thought it was
claw.
a claw. Yeah, so the bucket gets the beets. So basically the helper's job is to collect a sample if there's samples, and write the Pilar number on their receipt. Then when they're done dumping, Ricky mentioned, then that's when you guide them and you tell them when to come forward. And there's these other conveyor belts that go on the out. They go out, and that's what takes all of the dirt.
That cleans it.
Yeah, all the dirt that had come off of their beets. Now we give it back to them, and they have to put it in their truck.
I don't really know why they have to get it back.
Well, because it counts towards their weighing. Because when they first come in, they get weighed. And if they don't take their dirt back, it looks like they had more beets than they they really had.
Yeah.
So what happens is after they get their dirt, like Ricky said, you tell them get out of here.
Yeah.
And they go.
Just do your job. I
Yeah.
did mine.
Yeah. So then when the trucks leave, they go back through the weigh station. They get weighed again. So basically, whatever the weight was from the first time, subtract the weight of the next time, that's how much of beets they had. That's why they have to have their dirt back. Some farmers will some truckers will try to start driving away before the dirt's done.
Yeah, those are the new drivers.
Or they'll park like halfway, so half
Yep.
the dirt lands on the ground. And that's where our other job as the helper is to try to keep the area clean the best that we can. Whatever we get behind on, or it's too muddy and or they spill a bunch of beets everywhere, that's when the skidster comes in and helps clean up that. Yeah, so you have your boom operator who does that. You have your helpers. Usually there's 2 helpers, 1 on each side. But when they first start the season, there might be 4 of you because they know people are going to quit and not really stick with it.
Just
yeah.
in case.
Yeah, so just in case. And then you have your Pilar operator. And then usually they'll cross-train somebody on the ground to also work the Pilar. So if the Pilar operator, needs to go on a break, they can do that. So Ricky got to do learn the Pilar as well.
It's not bad at all.
Which is cool.
Self-explanatory when it comes to buttons. Do not
buttons.
get yeah, some people get overwhelmed with all the buttons, but it's actually when you see it, you might get frustrated, but once you watch the Pilar operator explains it, it's
if you spend
simple.
if you spend any amount of time up there, you can kind of you get a feel for how the flow of everything goes.
It is a hands-on experience when it comes to Pilar operators. So.
Yeah, so the Pilar operator makes the most money, and then the skid steers, and then your ground crew. So we'll talk about how much we made and what everyone, what we got paid and everything, and then what our second year would be like. So the ground crew makes about $12.60 an hour, and the skid steers make about $14.60 or $80 an hour, and then the Pilar operators make, and this is your first year on, your very first time, and then the Pilar operators make about 16, or just under 16, it's like 15.60 something as well. The way it works, basically, you're working every day of the week, 12-hour shifts. So Monday through Friday, you're getting your base pay for your first 8 hours, and then your next 4 hours is overtime, so that's time and a half. Saturday, the full 12 hours is time and a half, and then Sunday, the full 12 hours is double time. So that's where you're making all this extra money. So we did miss out on our first weekend of our time and a half and double time. I think Ricky got to work a half a Saturday.
Leave early.
Had to leave early. It was too warm, and then we had rain for a couple days, so we weren't able to work. Once we officially started working, though, we worked a good 2 weeks solid, and then again Ricky stayed on an extra
3 days.
3 days, and we ended up making about $5,000 total together before taxes. So not bad for
2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, especially since considering, like he said, we spent our emergency savings. We were able to replenish our emergency savings and still have plenty of money left over to get us through a couple months without working. So that was actually. That was really good. And then, so the second, and then you get a 5% bonus, which we'll end up getting, they said,
Christmas.
before Christmas.
Yeah.
At some point.
Soon. It's soon.
So yeah, so we'll probably be getting that soon. So we figured, 5%, that's a good little chunk of change for Christmas money.
Then when you come back, you get 10%.
Yep, so the second year you get 10%. The hourly pays are, I believe they're all bumped up another $2 per hour.
Yep.
Yeah, so your second year is really where to come in if you can handle it.
Yeah,
hang with it.
It's all up to you if you want to come back.
Yeah, so we figured we're gonna go back at least for our second year. Ricky's gonna do skid steer. He should be able to do it the whole season instead of just as a backup. As well as, we were talking about signing up for pre-pile.
Pre-pile, yeah.
So,
get to earn more money that time because you're
Yeah.
earlier.
So some of the skid steers can actually come in a little bit early and start working pre-pile. So they might only have, like I mentioned, there was 8 pilers. They might have like 2 pilers running or something. So if they need people, you can get on earlier. And then I'm going to be trying to do the piler operator next year. So we should be making even more money than anticipated versus just getting a raise from this one. Yeah, overall, I'd say our experience, I think we had a good experience.
Oh,
I think it was good.
I had a time of my life. Just
we got to.
It's a new experience.
Yep, new experience, learning new things, meeting a lot of really cool people, and then we did like a little farewell bonfire.
Yeah.
At our little place with just a few of the people that were left.
But yeah, some of them are still here.
Yeah, some of them are here in Kentucky as well.
But yeah, it was a fun experience, and if you're up to the challenge, this job is for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was at night. It was cold. You know, we got down to 30 with wind and rain. So we did. You know, we brought our snow gear out, and we had a ton of different layers. So if you come prepared to be cold and wet.
Yeah, just to make sure if you want to do this job, make sure you have the proper equipments, not equipments, the proper gears.
Yeah.
Just to make sure you're warm and you are dealing with the elements, which is the wind.
Yep. And
rain.
Any situation, whatever your attitude is, or your own personal expectations, like that's what's gonna determine for you whether it was a good experience or not. I think we went in there knowing it was gonna be really hard. So actually, I don't think it was as hard as I actually thought it was gonna be.
It wasn't bad at all.
The actual job is easy. It's just dealing with the long hours and the elements.
And the pay is rewarding.
Yeah.
Once you adjust to the environment.
Yeah. So we think it's worth it. We know some people that left early. We know some people who have had really bad experiences before. They've maybe worked with some bad group of people, and honestly, it's your personal attitude towards it. That's the only thing. Your own personal attitude, your own expectations is what's gonna get you through it. And yeah, you might have a few people that you're working with that might be a little hard to work with, but you do your best to keep your distance from them.
Just look at it this way.
And do your job, focus on what you need to do.
Just look at it this way. It's only a couple of weeks or so.
Yeah, a couple weeks. Anyone can do it for a couple weeks. So we basically were there from September 23rd till about October 22nd. So we were there for a whole month, but we only worked for about 2.5 weeks because again, we got there early, had some time off. We had the weather issues, and then we did stay a few days after to that way we could hang out a little bit and get laundry done and get everything done before we hit the road. But overall, it was a good experience. We're definitely going to do a second year. If you guys are ever, if you're thinking about going, definitely let us know, and maybe we'll end up meeting up with you. Or
you can just message her on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or Facebook, YouTube.
Yeah, just message us, and if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Testing.
Hey, is it working still?
Yeah.
Like an annoying guy.
Answer.
You married to this guy? Anyway. What?
I want to put all this stuff in the bloopers.
Whatever.
You married to this guy? You're married to me. I don't know if I think it's fair trade.
Anyway. Fair trade. It is, alright.
Whatever it is. Okay. Oh.
Hello! Enjoying the
Enjoying jacking.
Traveling the
Crying
Enjoying the
now.
journey.
Oh my god.
Hey, this is Ricky!